Okay, so this is the new Raspberry Pi 500 Plus, and as you can see from this, we've got 16 gig of RAM and 256 gig of storage on an NVMe drive, which is inside the case. I'll show you that later. And instead of just putting an NVMe slot into the existing Raspberry Pi 500, we've got this really nice clicky keyboard. It's a Gateron Blue KS33, and we press the function button and then tap this one. It cycles through the different color options that you've got. So this one is a strange one. It lights up the keys when you press them. And if we do the next one, it lights them up in red. And if we tap again, that's off, and then back onto white, and my favorite, which is red. We also have brightness controls here as well. And this keyboard is actually powered by a Raspberry Pi RP2040 microcontroller. But the main part of the Pi 500 Plus is powered by the same processor as the Raspberry Pi 5. Now I've had this a couple of weeks now and really loved using it, but I had to keep hiding it because I wasn't allowed to show it until the 25th. Now little things I really like about it. So the power button is green at the moment, you can see, and if we shut down, it goes to red. So it shows us there's power there, and if we tap it, and it does this nice little animation as it's booting up. Now if I shut it down again, just to show the multi-boot option is there, the same as it is on a Pi 500. And we turn on again, but this time pressing and holding the space bar, we get the boot menu. So if I wanted to boot from SD card, network, USB device and NVMe. But we've also got network installed, so you've already seen that this has Raspberry Pi OS on it, and it came pre-installed with that. And I think that's the first time we've ever had a Raspberry Pi device that is absolutely ready to use. So you just plug in a monitor, give it an internet connection, and you're up and running. But if you want a different operating system, if I press N on this screen, you see it's asking for an Ethernet cable. I've already got one plugged in. So what it's doing now is it's downloading an installer to be able to put a different operating system on it. And it can do this itself. So this is installing this into RAM. So it's only 31 megabytes, so it doesn't take very long. So this is Raspberry Pi Imager, and we can choose Raspberry Pi 5, choose OS, and there's loads of different operating systems, whether it's media players, operating systems, emulation, 3D printing software. There's a huge amount of things on here. And we can chop and change without doing anything. We don't have to plug anything extra in. We don't have to take out any drives. We don't have to open up the device. Very, very simple. But more of that later in the video, because I think we all want to see what it's like inside. So if we flip this over, we've got 5 screws to take out. Before I turn it over, apparently the sticker's going to change. There's going to be some more compliance details on the final article. And then what we do is use this tool to separate the case. So if we twist it a bit and then drag along, and on the other side, and down both sides, that one's already done, and then this side, and then the back. It's pretty easy. And there's a really cool bit about the next bit. So if I pull the keyboard forward all the way, you can see the cable is long enough that it doesn't have to stretch. So we can get access to the NVMe drive without having to stretch that cable. And I really like the way the NVMe drive is done, so I can use my fingers to unscrew this. So that's a little bolt that holds the NVMe drive down. And this is a 2230, but it will take up to a 2280 and in between. But I'm going to leave that one in there for now. And you can see, same as the Pi 500 and the 400 before that, this nice aluminium heat spreader. So if I drag this forward, to get the keyboard away from it, if we pop this up. So now this is the keyboard with its own microcontroller in there. So this is the RP2040, the same as the Pico. And if we get in a bit closer, oh, upside down. Isn't it amazing how good mobile phone cameras are now? So the RP2-B2, and we've got all of the LED lights underneath as well. And the heat spreader, super simple to remove, only 2 screws. And it comes off nice and easy. So you can see that we've got the thermal pad there which goes onto the CPU. And we can have a nice close look at that. You can flip this board out. I'm not going to bother, but this board you can take out. So it says Raspberry Pi 500 revision 4, which is actually the same as my original Pi 500. So the board is the same, but the difference being that the original Pi 500 didn't have that NVMe slot. Obviously provision was there for it, and the keyboard attaches very differently to the new one here. And this plastic bit is new, so this bit wasn't in the Pi 500 before. So I'm going to pop it back together and start playing around with operating systems. So it's such a simple but great design. So this needs to go this way around. So pop that in. Yeah, that's great. I like the way that works. And pop it all down into place. That's all back together. Let's pop those 5 screws back in. And it's got these reasonable sized rubber feet on it, so it feels really solid because it's got a bit of weight to it. It's a really nice keyboard to use. So connectivity wise, a USB 2, 2 USB 3s, SD card slot, USB-C for power, and then 2 micro HDMIs. It would have been nice to see full-size HDMIs with so much space here, but the Pi generally has micro HDMIs for a long time now. And this must be for the GPIO pins. There we go, so there's the GPIO pins. And then the Ethernet connector. And the keyboard, now I'm not going to go in depth on the keyboard because I know Jeff Gilling's going to do a load on it. But you do have this little tool to be able to take the key out. So pop it in and then lever it up. There you go. And there's your keys. And there will be these versions of the keyboards coming out, so UK, US, German, French, Spanish and Italian. And it says Portugal, Nordic and Japan to follow a few weeks after launch. And that just pops back on. And the feel of the keyboard, I probably already mentioned it, is great. Really responsive, really nice to use. And I really like a backlit keyboard as well. So obviously not so much in the day, but at night it's really, really useful. And you can see we've got dedicated keys for mute, volume up and down. We've got, this is all to do with the LEDs, so brightness and toggling through the different settings. Nice to see the normal F keys on there. I've really found the power key useful. Right, let's plug it in on my desk. So this is Raspberry Pi OS, which was pre-installed. I did have to install a little bit extra for the keyboard, but on the final version I think it'll all be ready to go. So if we open a terminal and we try random LEDs, I particularly like this one. So it starts basically just putting a random colour on the keyboard. And you can stop it with Control-C, and you can see the keyboard reverts back to as it was. But if you let it run for a bit, and then close down the terminal, it stays in that state, which I think is quite cool. But then if we go back to the terminal, there's other things on here. So we've got RPI keyboard-config list effects, and you can see various different things you can do with it. So LEDs, LED, hue, brightness, effect, list effects, preset, and I have got them in this text document. So from putting in help, this is the ones that came up. And the game's funny because it does Flappy Bird. So if I paste this in, then you have to press escape and enter and hold it until the countdown goes down. And then when you press space, it starts the game. So you can see I'm controlling the green on the left hand side, and it's not particularly easy. It's definitely better at night, but it is a game of Flappy Bird, just showing how customizable it is. With that RP2030 chip, you can program it to do all sorts of things. So again, Control-C will quit out of that. Now obviously you can run from an SD card, so if I pop the SD card in, and as you can see this SD card looks a little bit different, so let's shut this down. And if we press and hold space and boot it up again, I can now press 1 for SD card because I've got PINN on here. As you can see, all sorts of operating systems are on here, and a new addition is my version of RetroPie with PS2 and GameCube is in PINN now. So this is a multi-boot operating system. Basically, you can pick what operating systems you want from all sorts of groups, and it'll automatically install them. So now you can see that I've got 5 operating systems on here. So I've got my version of KDE Plasma. So if I hit boot, so this is now running from an SD card, and all of that works absolutely fine as it does on a Raspberry Pi 5. So if I shut this down, eject the SD card, there we go, and start up by pressing space and then press power. And if we do network install, so N, so the only storage I've got is the inbuilt NVMe drive, the 256GB one. But if you want to run more than one operating system from it, I'll show you how to use PINN. So when you get to this stage, choose device, Raspberry Pi 5, choose OS, and it's under multi-utility, I think. Yeah, PINN. So a multi-boot OS installer with OS admin features. So we click on that, choose storage, and we'll choose the NVMe drive in there. So I'm going to write over Raspberry Pi OS and hit next, and yes. Then it'll automatically boot into PINN on its own and show you all the options. So we can have Raspberry Pi OS again. We can have Android 15. We can have my version of KDE Plasma. All sorts of other things here as well, but let's go for games and my version of RetroPie, and then install. And we'll say yes, and yes. Now this will take a while because it's installing 4 different operating systems, so I'll come back when it's all done. And it gives us the option of changing various different sizes. I'm just going to leave it as it is. This is just a demo, so I'm going to leave it as it is. So it's got a little splash screen for my RetroPie. Okay, so that's all finished, installed successfully. So let's hit OK. And you can see the operating system. So if I want to go with, actually Android would be an interesting one because this is on an NVMe drive and it defaults to SD card. So let's boot that. Yeah, that's booted fine. So if we drag down, you can see we've got Android here. If we go into settings and storage, we've got 13% use, 55.6 free. System, and we've got all our Raspberry Pi settings. I've got a separate video on how to install Google Play Store and lots of other apps into Android 15. And if you drag up from the middle, you get what's on there. It's very basic as it is, but if you install the Google Play Store or the Aptide Store, it works great, and also works great with touchscreens as well. So let's shut that down. So let's try RetroPie. So there's no games in this as standard, but you can get some from RetroPie Setup. And if you go into Manage Packages, Experimental, and then scroll down, these are all emulators. Some of them are already installed. We've got Quake 2 here, let's try that. And yes. Okay, let's see if that's worked. So we go back and reboot. So now we've got ports, if we pick that, and Quake 2, and we're in. On my clicky keyboard. See it's working well. Not sure if you've got sound. I haven't because my monitor hasn't got sound. But you can see that's definitely working. And if I quit out of that with my controller, we can press start on the controller and quit back out and shut down system. We can restart, and this time we can try Raspberry Pi OS just to show that that's reinstalled on there. And here we are. And if we just go to my YouTube channel just to show other things that will work on this, because it's basically the same as the Raspberry Pi 5, which has been out a while now. So it basically means that it's well established. So there's lots of operating systems that you can put on there. And it's this one here. I need to change the name of it because it says everything Raspberry Pi over 750 videos. There's actually 916 in it. And so other operating systems, I haven't tried Windows 11 on this yet, but I will. Armbian, which is a great Linux operating system. FidoOS, which is like a Chromebook uses, Chrome OS, really, really good. Also Twister OS, which is great. Allows you to play old Windows games. It's already configured for it. It also has themes on it, so you can make it look like a MacBook. You can make it look like Windows XP or Windows 7 or Windows 11. So all sorts of things you can run on a Raspberry Pi 500 in that playlist. I've been really impressed with it. I had an email several weeks ago saying there was something coming from Raspberry Pi, and I didn't know what it was, and I thought maybe it was going to be a 03W. And when this arrived and I unboxed it and I played around with the keyboard and everything, it just is a great device. And the fact that it's got the NVMe drive in there, it's the 16 gig variant, it's just a really lovely piece of kit. So thanks very much for Raspberry Pi to sending me this to test. Hope all this helps. Thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe.